if I were to shoot for the smallest groups, that would really, stress the cartridge and all that, you have to really be very careful dialing out the parallax at every distance. For the type of shooting that I do, half the time I don't have to. Okay, but keep it in mind, I'm not a PRS guy, I'm not a great shot, I'm a pretty decent engineer. So my take on it is a little bit different. I sort of know my limitations, at least some of them. Now, the converse of it is that, for example, one of the scopes that has fairly shallow depth of field, one of the nicest scopes is the colors. It's not very difficult to dial out the parallax on the colors, because the way they did that center mounted parallax adjustment, the way the gearing works, it's a very slow adjustment, right? So there's a lot of movement of the parallax turret that corresponds to very, very small movement of the lens group that moves the focal point, right? So because if you have a scope with a shallow depth of field, as long as the focus and the parallax from a factory are set up to be in the same point, it's actually easier to dial out the parallax, because you basically look for the sharpest image and then check the parallax, and usually you're in a ballpark. If you have a scope like the Tangent Theta that has a great depth of field, you see everything, but you don't always necessarily see that you're out of focus and that your parallax needs to be tweaked. It's very easy to skip the parallax tweaking stage. That really comes down to the discipline of the shooter and what you do. Once again, to reiterate, I'm not a great shot, so you should not be picking up my shooting habits, but they work for me, so I'm happy. All right. Anyhow, I hope this all made sense, and I really hope that at least one of these videos worked adequately well. Oh. And to reiterate a couple of things, if you guys like these videos, go on my website, click some links. If you're going to be buying from Euro-Optics or 1-800 Guns and Gear, or from, who else am I, Send Up with Brownells, use the links from my website. I would really appreciate it. It costs the same to you. I get something out of it. All this stuff takes time. If you are following a recommendation of mine and you're purchasing for SWFA, and other people who know me mention that I sent you, at the minimum I get some goodwill, and when I need to borrow something, they'll be nicer to me. They're generally nice to me. But anyhow, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And if my accent gives you trouble, I couldn't care less.